Hello and welcome to the Primavera PA training sample. In the next few minutes, I will give you a quick walkthrough of what you should expect during the video training that HSE provides. Our first topic is relationship types. There are 4 types of relationships: finish to start, start to start, finish to finish, and start to finish. A finish to start relationship demonstrates that when A finishes, B can start. This can be used to show that when a submittal finishes, the review activity can start. A start-to-start relation means that when A starts, B can start as well. This can be used to link activities under 2 areas to start at the same time. A finish-to-finish relation shows that when A finishes, B can finish too, like when we link painting and false ceiling. A start-to-finish relation is rarely used in construction schedules and shows that when A starts, B can finish. This can be used to show that a submittal will be complete once the construction activity starts. There are different methods of linking activities. Let's try it together. The simplest is clicking on an activity and its successor, and then right-clicking and choosing Link Activities. If you wish to undo this, you click Ctrl-Z. The order that you click on the activities is the same way that it will be linked. For example, if you choose A, B, and C, and then click on Link. If we do the same to F, then E, then D, another method is using the Relationships tab below, where we have the predecessors and successors. We click on Assign, and we can search for the ID or the activity name if we have a long list. For example, we can either double-click on it or use the plus sign. This way the relationship will be added. We can modify the type of relationship here and add lag if needed. The Gantt chart on the right can also be used by clicking on Show Relationship Lines. This will show the sequence of work. When the arrow is black, a new relationship can be added. For example, we can link B to E. When the arrow is vertical, this means that the relationship can be modified. If you double-click, you get a small box. The pull-down menu shows the relationship types that we have. We can also assign a lag here. The predecessor and successor columns can also be added in the layout. You click on Ctrl F and look for predecessor. If you double-click, you get the box where you can assign or remove predecessors. The trace logic option can also be used to show the predecessors and successors of an activity. For example, if we click on B, you can see its predecessors and successors, and the same for any other activity that we want. Critical activities. Criticality can be defined using 2 methods: critical path or longest path. The first method is the critical path, or total float equals 0, where total float is the amount of time an activity can be delayed without delaying the overall completion time. Total float can be calculated by subtracting the early finish from the late finish, or early start from late start. When activities have a total float equal to 0, that means that these activities cannot be delayed, and if any of them is delayed, the project finish date will be delayed as well. The second method is the longest path. The longest path is a string of directly related activities that comprise the longest path from the data date to the last activity on the schedule. How is it calculated in Primavera? Primavera calculates the longest path by identifying the activities that have an early finish equal to the latest calculated early finish for the project. It then identifies all driving relationships for these activities and traces them back to the project start date. Let's try both methods in Primavera. If we click on the first activity and the last activity and click on Shift, then right-click and link all of them, we can also change the calendar here. A weather-sensitive calendar, we apply this to only 3 of the activities. If you see here, there's a huge gap between activity C and D due to the winter shutdown. Let's try total float method. If we create a new filter where total float equals 0, click on Apply. We find that the critical activities are only D, E, and F, and there is a gap from the data date till D. If we use another filter, where the longest path we will find that the longest path starts from activity A till activity F. When do both methods give the same results? There are 3 cases. The first is that if there are no constraints used. The second, if only one calendar is used. And the third method is when the level of effort and WBS summary activities are not used in the schedule. The advantages of the critical path is that it can be used with project intermediate milestones and can show near critical path. Disadvantages are that they're not accurate when using multiple calendars, and when all activities in the project have negative or positive float, they will either all be critical or non-critical. The longest path. Its advantages is that it can be used in multiple calendar projects, or if negative float exists, and can be reliable. Disadvantage is that it does not show the near longest path and can be used with project intermediate milestones. To overcome the disadvantages of the longest path, we use advanced scheduling to calculate the multiple float paths. Let's look at a sample project in Primavera. We click on Schedule, Options, Advanced, then click on Calculate Multiple Float Paths, and click on this box. We can choose any activity that we want. For example, if we click on H, then Close and Schedule. We group and sort by float path. If you see here, we have the different paths that lead from activity H to the data date. And this is a list of activities that are not on a float path. Thank you very much for your time, and I hope you found this training video helpful to improve your knowledge about Primavera's latest scheduling tools.